Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new here, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you are back, welcome back. Today I'm here to do just a really quick little tutorial on how I seal a diamond painting. This will also be just a really snapshot kind of review and reveal of one of my recently completed diamond painting kits. This particular kit is called Stained Glass Jack-O-Lantern. It's from Crystal Canvas Art Designs and is legally licensed from the artist Natalia Zachary. And I completed this for Drills and Chills, and it is a full crystal kit. All of the diamonds on here are crystals. Now, I found that the glue on this canvas was just a little bit slippery, and the nature of crystal drills as well is sometimes the bottoms just can be like not totally uniform like in size. And so I found that even just like with running my hand over this sometimes, that every once in a while just a crystal would pop off. So I thought, okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and seal this diamond painting just to prevent any diamonds from falling off, especially once I put this away kind of like into storage. So I will say that depending on the diamond painting that you have, you may not need to seal your diamond painting. Quite honestly, the grand majority of my diamond paintings, I do not seal them. It's also worth noting that some companies, if you seal your diamond painting, it will void the warranty. I know, like, for example, this is the case with Diamond Art Club's canvases. If you seal them, my understanding is that that voids the warranty. So that's just something to be aware of, and that's why I know a lot of people will seal every single diamond painting that they complete, but I don't, because it's not always necessary. I'm hoping that also by sealing this, that this will prevent any dirt or dust from getting in between the diamonds, since these are round diamonds or round crystals. There's space that like dirt or dust could get in there, and so hopefully sealing it's just going to help keep this, you know, all the diamonds stuck on here well, and no dirt or dust getting in there. So let me cover a few different things that I use, and this is all very subjective. I'm not an expert on sealing diamond paintings. I'm just going to share with you what my process is. So a couple of things that I want to do first is, and I don't feel that I need to do it with this kit, but sometimes like if I've worked on a kit where maybe I'm trying out different kinds of wax and there's a little bit of like residue left or something like that, sometimes I will take a soft microfiber cloth and maybe even just do a little bit of water, like really lightly damp, and I'll just gently like pat or wipe off the diamonds so that it's got like just a clean finish and look to it. And then if for some reason, like if you own a pet, or if there's been like a mishap, or it's just the nature of where you work on your painting, if there's dirt or dust in there, or hair, like pet hair, sometimes I will use a lint brush and I'll run it over that. I'm not going to do that in this case because I'm afraid this would just pick the diamonds up off the canvas. So I'm not going to use a lint brush on this one, but this is something I've done before on canvases where there have been maybe some like mishaps where dirt or hair or something has gotten in there. Something that I am going to use though, and I do recommend this, especially if you're sealing a diamond painting because of popping drills, which sometimes happens with squares, or in this case, there's some maybe really minor popping, like just a couple here and there, because the bases aren't totally uniform, and so sometimes they push up against each other just a tiny bit, and sometimes that'll make the diamond next to it just pop up just a little bit. So that's what we mean when we say popping drills. I'm going to take a roller. You can use a literal rolling pin. Like this is basically a little miniature rolling pin. They sell like diamond painting rollers as part of like accessories packs you can get on Amazon and stuff. But I just am going to take this and run it over this before I seal it, just to make sure that like all the diamonds are sitting on the glue as firmly as possible. And I think that this can just help. You know, it sets it up well. Sometimes, especially if you're doing squares, you can hear it a little bit now under me talking, you'll hear the diamonds kind of popping into place, and that's how you know that like, oh, this was popping a little bit. So it's not as bad here, but yeah, you can hear it a little bit. Hopefully this will help, just like, okay, now they're all set. They're really hopefully stuck to the glue really well. I feel like I've kind of prepped the canvas, and now I'm ready to go ahead and actually do the sealing. So the materials that I use for sealing, this is my preferred sealer, is Minwax Polycrylic. I picked this up from Walmart. You can get it from some hobby stores. You can get it from Amazon or hardware stores. I have also tried, they make a Minwax polyurethane. I found that to be too thick, like way too thick. I really like this one. Make sure you get it in clear gloss. Don't get it in matte, or I think satin is another finish. Clear gloss is going to give you the best chance of it not leaving a dull finish. I have sealed 1 or 2 kits with Minwax Polycrylic before and have been happy with it and felt like it did not dull the shine of the diamonds. So I'm crossing my fingers that that will be the case with this one. So I am just gonna, I just have the flat-ended tweezers to open this up. And I know lots of people, like some people recommend sealers like, what's the one? Mod Podge. I've heard of that yellowing. I know some people like, was it Tombow Aqua Glue, or sometimes they're like spray sealers. But this was the one, when I was doing research on what to use to seal a diamond painting, this Minwax Polycrylic was by far the thing that I saw recommended the most. A little bit stuck on there. I'm going to use a regular paintbrush. I have tried this with like the foam brushes and have had less success with that. So I'm going to use like a regular paintbrush. I am going to live life on the edge, and I did not put like anything under this to protect it, but this isn't too wild to work with. I'm not pouring it or anything like that. I'm just going to dip and paint, and hopefully that'll do the trick. So it's the Minwax Polycrylic, which you should stir it really with like a paint stirrer. It's not too thick, you know, but I'll just get a little bit on the brush like that. And then I'm just gonna paint a light layer on, kind of going multiple directions so that I feel like I'm hitting the crystals from every angle. And it does have a little bit of, like it almost looks a little bit milky when you first paint it on, but it dries clear. So I'm not panicked about that. So yeah, I just keep going until I feel like there's not like a thick amount of it like in between the crystals or the diamonds. Again, I have to reiterate, I am not an expert in this. This is just what I have found that works for me, and I've had the best luck with in my limited experience. So once it feels like, okay, I've kind of distributed this relatively evenly, I'm gonna go, let's dip again. Now, I feel like it depends on how bad your diamonds are popping. I did have a kit that had horrific popping diamonds that I did 2 layers of the Minwax Polycrylic. But when I have used it to seal diamond paintings, I otherwise have only needed 1 thin layer. You can see it's not gooping. I'm trying to keep it just a thin layer, and it will dry clear. And I am cautiously optimistic that it is not going to dull the finish of the crystals. I like using a paintbrush over a foam brush to paint this on, because when I was using the foam, I had a really difficult time getting it to not get really clumpy, especially in between the diamonds. I feel like a paintbrush like this, when I brush it like that, it just helps kind of distribute the sealer more evenly. But that's, again, this is my mostly amateur opinion and thoughts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do this thin layer all over. Oh, I think I see a little fuzzy in there. Where are my tweezers? Yeah, if you see anything in there, wait, where did it go? I lost it. So you can grab your tweezers and try to grab it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, especially because this does have like a little bit of an odor, I'm going to set this outside to really set and seal. And I have found that it does not take long. I'll leave it out just overnight. That usually does the trick. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and seal the rest of this, but I'm not going to like make you watch in slow motion here. I'll go ahead and just sort of time lapse this a little bit, and I'll chat with you more once I've finished sealing the whole thing. Okay, so I have done a thin layer of that polyacrylic sealant all over the whole thing. I was touching up here. I was like, oh wow, yeah. I was like, it dries pretty fast. Like I swear I'm touching up here and it's not even really sticky. But that's where I had started just 10 minutes ago. So even still though, I am gonna set this outside and let it like fully like cure or seal or whatnot, and I'm gonna touch base again with you guys. I'll let this sit overnight and we'll chat again tomorrow, which for you will just be a blip, and I can show you guys just how this is looking, confirm that like it hasn't dulled the finish of the crystals. And I've heard some people be curious about like how stiff the polyacrylic or different kinds of sealer can make a canvas, like once it really sets. Like, can you still roll a canvas once you've sealed it, that sort of thing. So I'll be back to chat about all of that with you here in just a moment. So be right back. And we're back. So it is actually the next day. I let this set overnight because I wanted to make sure that that polyacrylic just had the chance to totally dry, so we could see, okay, this is what the finish looks like. In my opinion, and I was even looking at this outside under the sunlight, in my opinion, now that it's fully dried or cured or whatever you want to call it, I don't think that it has dulled the finish and the shine of the crystals at all. What do you guys think? Here's a couple of different areas with a couple of different colors. I think that these still look very much like the shiny crystals that they looked like yesterday before we put that sealant on. And I feel like even the areas where there was a little bit of that sealer that maybe there was a little bit more of in between the diamonds, it still dried completely clear. So it looks, in my opinion, just like it did before. But one of the things that I know you guys I had some people ask about was how flexible is the canvas once there is that layer of sealant on. And I think you can kind of see it is still flexible. It's not like, oh, now this is just like a solid board or whatever. But if I tried to roll this, I wouldn't be able to roll it as tightly, and I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily roll it, I don't think. Like, I mean, you could. Let's try it. Which, by the way, I would have been afraid to like flip this upside down that way. Okay, so I could loosely roll it. It's like I couldn't tightly roll it. I could loosely roll it. But yeah, I was finding with this canvas that if especially down in this area for some reason, when I would run my hand over it, there were a few diamonds, a few crystals that just wanted to kind of pop right off. And now I can safely run my hand over the whole thing and I'm not, none of these crystals are moving. And even like when I would do that, I would kind of feel like some of the crystals start to shift like they wanted to maybe come up. And so I feel like this is so much more secure, I suppose. And that was exactly what my goal was sealing it, was just like, now I want to be able to like put this away and not worry about like if anything touches it, like if the canvases are stacked or something like that. Now I don't have to worry about like, oh shoot, now the diamonds are going to come off. If I tried, like if I went at this with a pair of tweezers or just my fingernails, like I'm sure that I could absolutely pry the diamonds off, but like, I don't really know that there's a way that you could seal it that you could avoid that. I don't think that's really the point of sealing it, but I guess that's kind of up to you. But anyway, you guys, I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that seeing it, finished and totally set shows you that like, okay, no, this is a good sealer to use that's, at least in the case of crystals, not going to dull the finish. I have found that even with regular diamonds that this sealer, this Minwax Polycrylic, doesn't dull the finish either, but I just don't have that to actually show to you guys right now. But hopefully seeing how I worked on this and stuff was helpful for you. So I will try to find that Minwax Polycrylic. Like I'll try to find a couple of links for it, a couple of places you can get it, like on Amazon or from like Walmart or Home Depot or something if you're in the States. That way, if you want to try to find it for yourself. And then as far as the other supplies like paintbrushes and microfiber cloths and stuff like that, I mean, you can just pick that up for yourself at even just like a local dollar store or something like that. So Anyway, you guys, that wraps up this video on how to seal a diamond painting, and you've gotten to see kind of this beautiful Crystal Canvas Art Designs canvas. I highly recommend this shop. I love that they have licensed crystal kits, and I was so happy with how this one turned out. I would definitely suggest, especially if you're new to trying out full crystal kits, maybe look at some of the stained glass titled pieces in there, because I think that style of piece is absolutely going to translate beautifully to having full crystals as opposed to regular like resin or acrylic diamonds. So I will link to this piece below as well if you want to check it out. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. If it was, would you please give this video a thumbs up before you head out? And if you're not already subscribed and want to see the huge variety of diamond painting content that I try to put out there, including tutorials like this one or reviews of canvases I finished and unboxings, all the things, please subscribe. I would absolutely love to have you. There's a button just down here you can click. And there's also a bell that you can click to be notified when I share new videos. All right, my friends, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.